Honorable Member for Keta, Quashigah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the budget statement for year 2019 under the theme, A Strong Economy for Jobs and Prosperity. Mr. Speaker, it is very refreshing to note that when this government took over, the first budget that was presented in 2017 gave us lots of assurance and hope that under the theme, sowing the seeds for growth and jobs. Mr. Speaker, the expectation was that having sown seeds, by this time they should have germinated and they should have been bearing fruits for the people of Ghana to enjoy.
They were dead seeds.
Mr. Speaker, in spite of the challenges that bedeviled the realization of these seeds that the government sowed, because apparently it appeared that there was drought all through, so most of the seeds could not germinate.
But they were dead seeds.
They decided in the 2018 budget to put Ghana back to work because the earlier intentions did not work. Mr. Speaker, if Ghana indeed was put back to work, we must not have had the numerous challenges that the economy suffered a few months ago. Mr. Speaker, we know that the spare parts dealers in Abosokai and the rest generate job by the activities they undertake. But indeed, these are people who are saying that their businesses are collapsing under the leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo Dankwa, who promised that he was going to create jobs for the young people of this country and will create an enabling environment for jobs to be generated, because it is a fulcrum to ensure that this nation does not collapse. Nana Akufo-Addo told us in this chamber that unemployment obviously is becoming the root to chaos in this country. Unemployment obviously is becoming the root for this nation to collapse, and therefore he was going to create the jobs. But today we are being told by various people in our society, experts, and for that matter, technical people, that close to 3 million people have lost jobs. Meanwhile, the government is also telling us another story, that they have created over 1 million jobs. Mr. Speaker, if 3 million jobs are lost and you have created 1 million, have you gone or have we come? Mr. Speaker,
Have you gone or have you come?
Yes, Honorable Minister for Employment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my good friend, Honorable Quashigah, has just alluded to experts coming out with figures that 3 million jobs have been lost. Indeed, he did not mention the name of those experts. I thought, being diligent enough, he will be able to mention the names of the experts that did work. But, Mr. Speaker, earlier on, an earlier contributor had actually alluded to that same 3 million, which I refuted. So I'm surprised my colleague is going back to that same record. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that we have officially challenged the group that did that work, and they have not come back. And I don't want us to use their record as an official record, so far as they have not substantiated.
He has not mentioned that record, so we will ask him to provide a source. If you've said that source, then the ruling I made would apply. Honorable, will you?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yes. Obviously, the CSS is one of those institutions which actually has experts on employment issues in this country, and they have
Which one is CSS?
That Center for Socioeconomic Studies. Yes. Mr. Speaker, you see?
Is it the same source cited by the earlier?
It's a credible think tank.
Rightly so, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Since the minister says they have officially challenged their figures, the only source of official source of these figures is the statistical service. If somebody brings out and the government says my record is different and challenges that, and there has not been any response, we should move away from citing them and you make our argument, please. Yes, Honorable Available Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Minister has challenged some facts. Mr. Speaker has given an indication. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that you are presiding the chair. Mr. Speaker, if a fact is made, or an allegation is made, or somebody asserts.
No, it's not an allegation.
It's not an allegation.
It's not an allegation.
It's an
It's not an allegation.
Can that allegation, can that statement made by an honorable member contributor on the floor of the House be traversed without more?
Without alternative facts.
Can it just be traversed without more? I thought that
Sorry,
the
I
way
didn't hear the last word.
traversed, can it be traversed? Can it be
Traversed.
Yes, without more. Can it be? Without more, without saying that the facts are this. By the statement of government policy captured in this report, this is the true and accurate fact. Should it just be that I challenge your facts, so it's not true?
And of sorry.
Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I believe we should get the facts right. First, an allegation is made by a group without providing statistics about where the so-called 3 million, where they were working and so on, which jobs they have lost. So the minister then challenges them that produce the source. They are unable to do that. And then you come and quote the very source that the ministry has challenged, and the people are unable to, that to me cannot be entertained in this House. The Speaker, that cannot be entertained in this House. In any event, the Speaker, you had already ruled on this matter. And so you cannot resurrect a matter that the Speaker has provided, has given a ruling on, when you are not capable of generating, the facts. In any event, you attribute that publication to experts. Who are those experts? Who qualifies to be an expert in this? Mr. Speaker, the official source that this country takes our records from is Ghana Statistical Service. And Ghana Statistical Service themselves, they are challenging the figures. And they are not able to come out and come and inundate this House with mere allegations. Mr. Speaker, I believe that we should rule on this so that we put this matter to rest. We cannot have any space in this House, which is a House of records.
Yes, Available Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I was just seeking your guidance. Yes, the CSA, Center for Socio-Economic.
Doesn't matter.
Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They have conducted research, and they have made their research findings available. But it's a research conducted by human beings. And so if you have reasons, no, it's not a laughing matter. It's a serious matter. If you have reasons to believe that these persons who hold themselves as researchers and who have produced evidence of a sort is inaccurate, Mr. Speaker, I was just seeking your guidance because this is a house of debate. It's a house of debate in the first place. It's a house of debate. That's why we are here. We are here to debate government policy. Now, in debating government policy, anybody who has reasons to believe that one is not being accurate with the facts can raise issue. But you cannot just raise issue and sit down. No, you cannot. You have to provide the alternative
Can we
facts.
address honorable members? The ruling I made earlier stands. That alleged report has been challenged by the official statistical service that they should provide the evidence. So far, we don't have the evidence. So please move away from that. Speak your opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate your ruling, but to state that I would have provided a breakdown of the figures of the CSS report.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, in this country, just recently, not too long ago in this very year, the figure of 745,000 jobs and our planting for food and jobs was dangled before us. It was challenged by even experts within the agriculture sector.
And
but government decided to stick to that. Mr. Speaker, in this country, we were in this country when the then running mate, now vice president, challenged the statistical services with their figures. Mr. Speaker, if we are talking about credibility of figures, I think that my friends on the other side are more guilty than we are. More so. We are not saying that these are figures that were generated by us, but these were figures generated by a think tank, people who were made up of experts. I will not allow and I will not permit the minority leaders' tricks of intimidating to intimidate me this time.
Honorable member.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable member. One, the attack on the majority leader is most unparliamentary, and you will withdraw that. Secondly, when the issue of planting for food and jobs, the figures were provided in this house, in this chamber, by the minister. You asked the question. I recall I admitted the question, and the minister came to provide the answer here. The other one you referred to, running mate, if he brought the information here, he would have been required to provide the figures. That is the rule in this house. So if you don't provide your source which is credible, I will disallow it. Please proceed without referring to that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, it is interesting that President Nana Akufo-Addo in this very chamber, or in his address, one of his addresses, repudiated the 445,000 jobs that was touted by his ministers as jobs that have been created in this country. He mentioned 200,000. Mr. Speaker, to deal with unemployment in this country, we need credible data. The number of people that are unemployed. And Nana Akufo-Addo earlier on promised that this year in March, he was going to furnish the people of Ghana with the list of unemployed people and the number of jobs that have been created. Up to today, we are still waiting for Nana Akufo-Addo to give us those details. Mr. Speaker, now let's look at the 2017 budget. The 2017 budget that was presented in this house indicated to us that jobs will be created in various areas. But Mr. Speaker, for instance, they said that in 2018, the ministry, that's on page 648 of the 2018 budget, the ministry will collaborate with stakeholders to develop specific programs and projects in the area of agribusiness, green jobs, business parks, ICT, and this will lead to 665,000 jobs. Mr. Speaker, this current budget that we are looking at is very silent on that. What it means is that the 65,000 jobs have not been created. Mr. Speaker, again, we were told that 250,000 jobs were going to be created under the 1D1F according to the 2017 budget. Mr. Speaker, as we see today, nothing is being said about the 250,000 jobs to be created under the 1D1F just because we have come to a standstill. The program is suffering a malaise. The program is, that particular program has become so lame that it has collapsed like a pack of cards. Where we are currently, we are being told that only 18 entities have been accredited. Mr. Speaker, what is the meaning of accreditation? It means that nothing has even started. No job has been created as far as that program is concerned. All the programs that Nana Akufo-Addo talked about, which were presented to us by the Minister of Finance in this house, all those programs have collapsed. We were told that the Youth Enterprise Program was going to generate 118,000 jobs. Where are the jobs? Mr. Speaker, as we are here now, We are told that 100,000 people have been engaged under, graduates have been engaged under NAFCO. Yes.
They are not even there.
There is reason to celebrate. But what are we celebrating? Mediocrity.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, when it comes to YEA, the NDC before we left office, which was expressly pronounced and talked about by the Minister of Finance, Honorable Kenoforiata, in this house, the Ministry of Youth and the National Youth Agency, under the current minority leader, the indefatigable Honorable Haruna Idrisu, they generated 96,000 under YEA. Today, we are talking of a paltry 90,000, which fell short of 6,000 2 years on. Mr. Speaker, what job are they creating? Oh, it is becoming so disappointing that every Ghanaian is crying. Every Ghanaian is calling for the NDC government to come back. Yeah. To actually address the challenges that are befalling this nation. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that our government under Nana Akufo-Addo haven't demonstrated by words, rhetorics, that he is the man. He has the capacity, he has the man. They will be able to deliver Ghana. They promised us a paradise. What are we experiencing today? Hello, Mr. Speaker, today, when you go to the number of the entities we have, the banking sector has totally collapsed. The banking sector, several jobs have been lost. Thousands of jobs, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, even today, the media that we have even in this chamber, they are all complaining because a number of them do not know whether they can have their jobs tomorrow. Yes. When you take TV3, for instance, 100 workers have already been sacked. Yes. Mr. Speaker, when you go to Star FM, a number of people have been sacked. No. Even the establishment of a very good friend of this government, Dr. Mensa Otabel, even him, he's suffering and is already complaining because his establishments are collapsing and he has been forced even to lay off some of his teachers, his lecturers at the university. He does not even know whether the university will continue to exist because his own friends are coming after him. They are collapsing his businesses. Mr. Speaker, if you can do that to your own friends, what about those who are not your friends?
You tell them that if they can...